Alright, gamers. Alright, video game players. Let's have a quick chat about Changli as I take her into tactical simulacra, which I've got some opinions about, but it is what it is. Is Changli worth your pulls? Is she worth playing? Is she worth it for you? Well, here's the thing. Changli, like every other DPS character, is going to have fairly diminishing returns for your account. Why can't I zoom out? Oh well, whatever. Um, in that, what's going to happen is that you'll get her, and she'll be great for a fair while, and then power creep will come through and all of that sort of stuff, which is fine. You expect that, but at this early stage in the game, is she worth the pull? Is she worth going for? And more to the point is, if you do, is her weapon worth it as well? Oop, that was me trying to speak at the same time. Clearly doesn't work. That's alright. Alt. And frankly, I think most players will find that it's probably better off skipping her and skipping how she... Oh, Jesus. Skipping how she works. Because here's the thing. She's a very generic DPS character and a very sort of typical way I think you'll find a lot of characters get built in this game. In that they've got a supporting outro skill, and then other than that, she's just DPS. And that's all she really does. And there's nothing inherently wrong with just being DPS, but it doesn't bring you any additional benefits, right? And what I mean by additional benefits is that she doesn't have the ability to support in the same sort of way as Yin Lin does in terms of the off-field damage, as Yin Lin does with her E and with all of her other stuff. And she's also not a support in the sense that Verena is, where she's actually trying to provide heals and direct party buffs and direct party support, which actually detracts pretty massively from her value, as we've just had arguably the best raw damage unit in Jinsi, which I think a lot of people will have pulled for. So all told, I think for me, ooh, look at that, Changli's a definite pull, because she's my favorite character, right? I love her design, I love how she plays, she's very flashy, she's very cool, but I think most players will find that she's pretty derivative to what we already have. And by that I mean is that her role is to mostly just do damage. And that's fine. But as I said, what we really need is other Verena-esque characters, other Baija-esque characters, and all of that sort of thing. And, sorry, I had to quick pause there. Baija, Verena, and other characters that can provide some more off-field benefits rather than just Changli's outro skill, which is a fusion buff. Hang on, is it in here? No, whatever. Is just a fusion buff and a liberation damage buff, right? So you don't really need any of that sort of stuff. And if you've got a couple of working DPS units now, like maybe you got a Calcharo from the beginning, or maybe you got maybe you got Jian and Jinsi, or maybe you got Jinsi and you're working with Havoc Rover or something like that. Those are perfectly fine and capable units to carry you all the way through. You don't need a... As fun as she is, she's not entirely necessary at all. Especially because we're getting another Yin Lin-esque support, it looks like, in the next patch. So really, her value overall does seem fairly low for most players and people who don't want to spend. So with that spoken about, let's say you decide you're like me and you really want to get Changli, and you've gone into the banner, you've gotten her. Do you get the weapon? Do you get the Blazing Brilliance weapon? The answer is no, frankly. The answer is no. You don't need it. In general, yes, her weapon is very strong and provides about a 10 or 15% damage boost to her overall. But here's the thing, right? Your pool currency is very, very valuable. And while we do get, I'm not entirely sure if I like this, by the way, while we do get pool currency that's specific to these weapon banners sometimes, they're not in great supply, and you really want to pick and choose what you can get. And I think the best way you want to be looking at spending that is on weapons that are in the standard banner but don't. Oh, I'm one away from trying to get this again. I think I'm guaranteed it right now. Is looking at each of these weapons and saying, okay, which one has crit rate on it and which ones do not have crit rate on it or crit damage on it. So this one, for instance, is attack, and this one here is attack, and the guns are crit rate. The raptor is attack, and the sword is crit rate. So in an ideal world, you've gotten the sword and or the guns off of this from your targeted convene. And if you're going to ever pull on weapons, you should pull on characters who have weapons like, say, Yin Lin, who can better use this and has a crit rate or a crit damage substat. That's going to make life a lot easier for you in building your units and in building your crits. So what you really want to do is, since this is here, it's a sword with crit rate, you can very safely skip this weapon, no worries at all. And the other really beneficial thing is if we head over to Tower of Adversity, which I admit I haven't done yet this rotation, is you only need one set of echoes and also one weapon of each type that's actually got crit substats. So if you want to just have multiple for the same, that's totally fine, right? But if I start challenging here and I put, say, I don't know, Motefi in, right? I can go to details and I can give him whatever. I can give him all of Changli's weapons or echoes and all of that sort of stuff. And then on this other side over here, I can come here and it doesn't really matter as long as I'm not doubling up. So if I have, let's say, Encore and Changli in this, on this same team, then I can't share their echoes. But if they're on different teams, then I can. So that's totally fine. You don't need to worry about any of that. And it's the exact same for weapons. So if I've got, let's say, Yin Lin and Encore, this is probably a really good way to illustrate it. With Yin Lin, I've got String Master, and on Encore, I've actually got another copy of String Master because of wanting to have crit rate on multiple DPS characters, right? So I could do that, or I could actually just take them one on each side and use a singular copy of String Master. And what that means is that I can skip future versions of this weapon type with the crit substat because I've already got it if I want to. And then it's really just all about how powerful is this for the next characters. So admittedly, grants 12% attribute bonus. So if I gave this to a non-electric character, not ideal, wouldn't get it, but I would still get all this crit and this other attack up. So fairly useful. Hopefully the more universal the weapons are, the more you can shift and change between your characters. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this. So, short stories, skip the weapon, don't need it. Very strong if you want it, but not worth, pitying a character, for instance. Changli herself, again, very strong. Doesn't introduce anything new to the game, doesn't provide massive support, is primarily a DPS character that doesn't want to spend too much time on the field. So she wants to come in, do her full rotation, get back out again, and we don't really have another character that supports that super well. So maybe her value goes up, but we don't know that yet. And the next characters that are coming out, or at least one of them, looks to be much closer to a Yin Lin's type support, who's got much more value overall. So I would look to those, and if it does turn out that Changli becomes amazing down the line, there'll be rerun banners. There always are. Maybe there'll be different types of banners or whatever where you can get her again. And I think that's the best way to go around it. So that's my opinion. Let me know if you pulled for her. Let me know if you didn't. Let me know if you got the weapon. Let me know if you didn't. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.